Now I can't lie, I am going to be a little biased with this show because we all know the baddest band in the land is the incomparable Marching 100 of Florida A&M University. But you know what, Prairie View? If there's anything I do, it's give credit where it's due. And baby, I'm giving y'all hella credit because I am locked all the way in with this show. So let's get into it. So for the ones that don't know, the CW greenlit a docu-series titled March, which will explore HBCU band culture in Prairie View A&M University. It's the first school that will show how the students balance the pressure of band in academics. And I say first because I am going to assume they will try to expand to other HBCUs if all goes well. So, fingers crossed. I must say, I am so excited for this type of series because HBCU culture is amazing. But HBCU band life is a whole nother world, being that bands are the mecca of all activities at HBCUs. So I can only imagine what the students deal with beyond hitting that field on game days. So moving on to the series, the first thing we are hit with is little facts and tidbits of Prairie View from the band members and the band director. And one thing that stood out to me was how they were rated number 8 as far as HBCU bands go. And their ranking was kind of the plot of the show and how they are going to work hard to move up on the chart, which I am all here for. However, I have to say they would never hit that number 1 spot because that's locked in by FAMU, baby. But hey, that's just the bias in me talking. Nonetheless, I am all here for them moving up. Now, I will say there was a lot of cockiness from the students in the band on the show. And you know what? I love it. And I am here for all the cockiness, the confidence, and eagerness they have pushing to be the best. But if you are here telling me you are the best, god darn it, you better show me. Now let's break down the cast. So there is Aaron, who is a senior drum major, and there is Jaylen, who is also a senior drum major. Now we've seen bits and pieces of Aaron this episode, but there wasn't anything drastic to talk about with him. Now Jaylen, on the other hand, had some scenes where he would have his opinions about another castmate named Nemo and how he has to work on his attitude. Now Nemo is a junior and he plays the mellophone, but he wants to become a drum major, which is where Jaylen come in as the big brother and mentor type, to Nemo. So in his confession, Jaylen let it be known that Nemo has all the tools to become a good drum major in the next season, but says that the only thing holding him back is having a short fuse when it comes to guiding and leading others in the band. Now the thing is, Nemo knows he has a bad attitude, so he decided to ask Jaylen for some advice. As he should, because based on their conversation, it was said that Jaylen knows how to communicate with members of the band about what they are doing wrong, but in a respectable manner, unlike Nemo, who is only on the dance committee and be snapping on them kids like he birthed them. And like Jaylen said in his confessional, that type of response only destroys the morale of the band. It don't help it. So Jaylen gave Nemo some good advice, which was, everyone doesn't take well to being yelled at. So Nemo has to work on knowing how to get others to listen to him and respect him while he is teaching, without getting all snappy. And although that advice may seem like common sense, I can kind of tell Nemo took it all in as if it was new information. Because baby, one thing about it, being a leader comes with so much more than having, great dance moves, that's for sure. But in all seriousness, to be a leader, no one should be able to make you get out of character, because the moment you do, you will lose everything in a blink of an eye like Martayvia did. And I'm going to get into that later because, child, that's a whole lot. Let's move on to the dancers of the show we were introduced to, which is Kaylan, aka Heyyyy, who is a senior and she is the captain of the Black Foxes, who are the band dancers. Now so far, I like Kaylan. She is giving off good energy, which is important to note because there have been many times where we have seen band dancers with nasty attitudes, but she has a refreshing personality. Now the thing with Kaylan is, it's her last year and she's dealing with the pressure of finishing off school strong, being in a long distance relationship, and being picture perfect as a dance captain because she knows all eyes are on her and she's always being critiqued. So she expresses that to another dancer named Shelbie. Now Shelbie, baby, she's like Nemo, okay? Shelbie is a sophomore dancer with the Black Foxes, and she wants to become a dance captain in the next season. But just like Nemo, Miss Mamas is a snapper, okay? So of course Kaylan knows she wants to try out for the position. So Kaylan was telling her that she needs to work on controlling, you know, her thoughts and emotions. If she plans to step up into a leadership role, because Shelbie is the type to say what is on her mind based off of what Kaylan is saying. And you can't do that all the time as a leader. So she's going to have to work on that. And I can't lie, Shelbie gives off the energy that she's the type of girl that would be like, I'm the captain, so shut up, you know. And I could be wrong, but that's what she's giving off to me. But let's move on. So in the episode, we are introduced to Trey because he is sitting and talking to Martayvia. Now listen, this is like the second time I am bringing up Martayvia, but my girl is a key factor in this episode. So I can't dive into her just yet, but just you wait. But anyways, back to Trey. He is a junior that plays the bass drum. And let me just say, I am digging Trey, okay? I like his character because he is bringing that sentimental sweetness and heart to the show we always want, other than, you know, straight drama. So Trey is a first-time dad, and I could tell his storyline is going to be centered around being a parent, being in school, and being in a band, which is a lot, especially if, you know, he's in his child's life for real. I think his storyline is going to be very important to dive into throughout the season because there are a lot of students in college that already have children or are about to have a child. And most of the time they put themselves in a box where they just go to school, go home, and maybe a job if they have the time, which is fine, but they lose the joy and experience of being an HBCU college student. Now, of course, most of them don't have any other choice, and sometimes they don't even know there are other choices and options out there for them, so they can raise their child and have their college experience. So seeing Trey go through everything from his highs and his lows would definitely be a great outcome for this show. I'm excited for that. Okay, now that I have got the majority of the cast out of the way, let's talk about Martayvia and Cardavion. So Cardavion is a senior and she plays the euphonium. And baby, Cardavion is a whole lot, okay? So when she's introduced, everything seemed all good and positive because she was talking about how she has all these businesses from cooking to selling hair. And I was here for all of it, okay? Get your exposure. And then she started talking about how college has been a struggle for her because she is a she when she is dressed up like a girl. But when she isn't dressed up like a girl, then she is a he because he is now dressed up as a boy. So because he transitions time to time from boy and girl, people around be asking, what is she or what is he? And baby Cardavion said, baby, I'm both, period. So we're gonna leave that where it's at because there wasn't even a drama that Cardavion really deal with, child. Or is dealing with, as far as this episode goes. So after we get a whole little backstory on Cardavion, he goes on to say that he got kicked out the band because he had an altercation with Martayvia. And I just think that name is so funny because it is so similar to mine, which is Martayvia. And I always say, I am the one and only. So I just know Martayvia is the one and only. Now, since we are on Martayvia, a little backstory on her is she is a senior that plays the piccolo. Matter of fact, she is the section leader of the piccolos, which is amazing. But baby, the plot twist is she, along with Cardavion, has been kicked out the band. Now, we all know there is 3 sides to every story. So Cardavion says that the altercation stems from Martayvia and a group of others basically being fake friends and using him because there would be times where she would hit up that specific friend group and ask them to hang out, but they will always ignore him. But as soon as he asks them if they want some food he cooked, they are running over to his place ready to get a plate. Y'all, I can't lie, I scream because they know they did wrong for that. I know college students be down bad and hungry sometimes, but I just know that Martayvia and that clique ain't out here being fake to this boy and being his friend just so he can feed them. That is just nasty on so many levels. So that is Cardavion's viewpoint on why him and Martayvia got into an altercation that led to both of them getting kicked out the band. But baby, that wasn't enough details for me at all because Someone being a fake friend to you shouldn't be the reason you get kicked out of a group that you have been a part of since you was a freshman. That just don't make no sense to me. So Martayvia had a chance to tell her side of the story. Now unlike Cardavion, she didn't really talk about how they went from friends to foes, but what she did do is dive deeper into what actually happened that got them kicked off. So Martayvia said the altercation that happened with her and Cardavion happened when they were either getting ready to go to the Labor Day Classic or they were leaving the Labor Day Classic. And Cardavion was running his mouth and talking mess about how her and the other friends were using him to feed them. And Martayvia said she couldn't take his mess anymore, so they was about to fight. Now granted, she didn't say the words fight, but I can only assume that is where they were heading since they were already arguing, right? But Martayvia said that Cardavion was acting scary and didn't want to take it there that day. So that's when she started calling his phone and leaving voice messages and texting him, basically saying she can pull up to his house and they can get into it some more. Like, what's up? Child, it was a whole lot of mess that honestly should have been squashed once they were separated during the Labor Day Classic. But since it wasn't, and Martayvia kept it going with the voicemail, she said out of nowhere, the school hit her with an email from the student code of conduct about cyberbullying a student. So all I am thinking at this point is Cardavion tried to one-up her and make her look bad to get her kicked out of the band and probably kicked out of school. But he didn't know it was going to backfire on him. So now they both are out of the band, but they are trying to get back on, which will require them to talk to Doc, who is basically their band director. So because Cardavion bakes, he decided to use the tactic of baking cookies and passing them out to the band members and getting some and giving some to Doc so he can get back in the band. Now see, my thing with Cardavion is that he felt like he shouldn't have got kicked out of the band. And he felt like he doesn't need to apologize for his actions. And that way of thinking won't get him very far at all, especially back in a band that's all about being a team member in a family. You need to apologize. So while Cardavion is out and about in the band building trying to be a good Samaritan and pass out these cookies to get back in Doc's good graces, Martayvia done met up with Doc to have a discussion to see how she can get back on the team. So when we see Martayvia and Doc having a talk, everything seems to be going well because everything Doc was saying to her was positive. He was basically saying how she's a great asset to the team and how passionate she is, but her passion is her strength and her weakness. Now don't get me wrong, I understood what Doc was doing, I just don't know where he was going when he said her passion was a weakness. But if y'all understood him, write in the comments below and let me hear your thoughts and let me hear your take on this. But I've never known of someone's passion being a weakness. And maybe it's just me, but him saying that specific line didn't hit how he thought it was going to hit. I don't know, something about that was off. All in all, he was speaking real spill to Martayvia. Beyond that line, he was speaking real spill to her. Now, continuing on with their conversation, Doc asked her if she and Cardavion figured out a way to stop being frenemies. And Martayvia said they haven't yet, but she did plan on meeting with him so, she can get a few things off her chest. And Doc said they both need to grow up, which I agree. The both of them do, because their animosity towards each other is so childish. If y'all don't like each other anymore, that's fine. Y'all don't have to be friends. But if y'all want to be back in this band, y'all need to find a way to make amends and be cordial and move on, especially with both of them being seniors. They need to find somewhere else to put all that negative energy. They don't even need to have no negative energy because y'all about to graduate. And to end off the conversation about her getting back in the band, well, Doc told her she won't be able to get back in the band for the rest of the semester, especially for their homecoming, which was the performance they were getting ready for in this episode. So after hearing that no from Doc, I knew my girl was sick. She started crying and all, which I get because it's her last year in school and she can't participate in homecoming. Baby, I know she regret getting into any altercation with Cardavion. Now, what I will say is the way he was bigging her up and pointing out the positive characteristics she has as a leader was very important. And he told her that those same attributes she uses to be a leader in a band, she needs to use that in her real life. And I totally respect that. But I do feel like it don't matter how good of a leader you are, how much people love you or whatever. There will be a time where you reach a breaking point and you snap. And I think the situation she had with Cardavion was her breaking point. And I'm not saying it was right or that she should have responded the way that she did, being in a leadership position. It was wrong. Point blank period, it was. But I just think sometimes people break, and that's okay. And I do believe she should have been punished, but being completely kicked out the band was a bit much, especially if this was her first incident. But I also understand there are rules and rules have to be followed, so that's that. But baby, she was better than me because I would have been out that door once Doc told me no. Like, thank you, Doc, for everything you've done, and I hope you all had a great season because clearly that was the end of hers. Granted, I probably would have never been in that predicament either because can't nobody give me that upset, especially if I don't kick it with you no more and I'm a leader. Girl, please. Overall, I love this show. There is a mixture of positivity with shady drama, lessons, love, respect, and culture. And baby, you can never go wrong with that. Now, what I do have to get off my chest before I leave this video, which is, why in the hell were some of the band members practicing with book bags on their back and jeans on? I mean, ain't that uncomfortable? I don't know. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed my review. You already know what to do. Like this video, comment your thoughts on this show below because it's gonna be a good one. And last but certainly not least, subscribe and join the Queen, baby. Bye.